what me and Aaron have, is very healthy and is very gentle. It's very soft and it's very kind and it's very sweet and it's very warm and it's one of the best feelings that I've ever had.
All right, man, we knew it was gonna happen. We knew it was gonna happen. Yeah. I didn't hear the news. Tiana Taylor and Aaron Pierre, they called it quits. I guess he couldn't bear.
So Iman Shumpert is asking for Tiana Taylor to be held in criminal contempt of court and to be thrown in jail for 20 days.
Okay, now y'all going too far. Come on, Iman. For what?
Well, this is what. So he's basically saying that when Tiana Taylor spoke out, remember we reported in the room about the divorce agreement that they had.
Oh my goodness, I'm so happy you asked. Tiana Taylor winning that Golden Globe is the same reason why Halle Berry is the only black woman, or one of the few black women, with a Best Actress Oscar. Halle Berry won for Monsters Ball, and the theory behind why she won is the fact that she was a black woman being fetishized by a white man with a father. Tiana Taylor's character in One Battle After Another is basically the same.
What if I want to get my back blown out in peace? You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old? That's a year old, y'all. Let's be fucking for real. Let's be real. And I'm like just so irritated because I didn't want none of this to come out from the beginning. So when people saying, for everybody that's saying, oh, well, this y'all celebrities, this is what come with it. No divorce stuff is private. It can absolutely stay private if you allow it to stay private.
It started with love, soft, gentle, warm, and one of the best feelings she'd ever had. That's how Tiana Taylor described her relationship with Aaron Pierre, glowing like a woman who had finally found peace after chaos. But fast forward, and that fairy tale has completely imploded. Aaron is gone. Leonardo DiCaprio is suddenly in the picture, and now Tiana's past is crashing back into the spotlight in the messiest way possible. Because while fans were distracted by new romances and red carpet wins, her ex-husband Iman Shumpert was quietly building a case that could land her in jail. And once you peel back the layers, allegations of lies, leaked documents, money battles, and career-driven choices, it starts to look less like bad luck and more like a pattern nobody wanted to admit. What me and Aaron have is very healthy, very gentle, very soft, very kind, very sweet. One of the best feelings I've ever had. That was Tiana Taylor, sounding lighter than she had in years, like a woman who had finally exhaled after surviving a brutal chapter. And for a moment, everyone believed her. After the divorce, after the noise, after the pain, this was supposed to be the calm. Except calm never came. Because almost as soon as those words finished echoing, the entire story flipped on its head. Aaron Pierre is suddenly out of the picture. Whispers of Leonardo DiCaprio are swirling, and the man Tiana once called her past, Iman Shumpert, is back in court, not for closure, but allegedly asking a judge to hold her in criminal contempt and send her to jail for up to 20 days. Jail. Not shade, not subtweets, not another messy headline. Actual time behind bars. And that's when the internet did what it always does. It stopped listening to the poetry and started digging through the receipts. Old interviews suddenly hit different. That soft love speech now feels ironic, almost haunting, when you line it up against lawsuits, sealed documents, and a divorce that refuses to stay buried. Because while Tiana was telling the world she wanted privacy, peace, and nothing from her ex, court filings and public disputes were quietly telling a much louder story. One involving accusations of lies, finger-pointing over leaked documents, millions in assets, and a relationship timeline that looks a little too convenient for comfort. The whiplash is real. From best feeling I've ever had to potential jail time, from romantic healing to legal warfare, from fan-favorite survivor to a woman many are now questioning. And before we even get into what's true, what's alleged, and what's pure rumor, one thing is already clear. This isn't just a breakup story anymore. This is about image, power, control, and whether the version of Tiana Taylor the public fell in love with is the same woman the courts, her exes, and even some fans are now side-eyeing. Here's where everything snaps into focus. While the internet was busy speculating about new romances and award season glow-ups, Iman Shumpert quietly pulled a legal move that shocked even people who thought they'd seen all. According to court filings, he's asking a judge to hold Tiana Taylor in criminal contempt, an accusation serious enough to come with a potential penalty of up to 20 days in jail. Not a fine, not a warning. Jail time. The reason? Allegedly violating court orders tied to their divorce by speaking publicly about sealed details and, in his view, fueling harassment and misinformation. That's the headline moment that changes the tone of this entire saga, because once jail enters the conversation, this stops being celebrity mess and starts looking like a real legal threat. And what makes it even more jarring is how fast we got here. From carefully curated statements about privacy to a judge being asked to step in and punish one of the most publicly adored women in entertainment. To understand why this feels so shocking, you have to rewind to how this divorce was first presented. When Tiana announced the split, she painted a picture that felt painfully familiar to a lot of women. A husband threatened by her success, allegedly jealous, allegedly unfaithful, allegedly uncomfortable with her career once motherhood entered the picture. She claimed he wanted her to slow down, even stop working, but then resented her when she did. It was a story that fit perfectly into a larger cultural conversation about women outgrowing relationships, and the public believed her. Fans rallied hard. Tiana wasn't just seen as divorcing an NBA player. She was seen as escaping one. In that moment, she became the symbol of a woman choosing herself, and Iman, fairly or not, became the villain in a story that felt already written. But while the public was firmly on Tiana's side, there was another narrative unfolding quietly in court, one that almost no one paid attention to. Iman, through his attorney, filed motions alleging that Tiana had physically attacked him on multiple occasions. Not arguments, not heated words, physical altercations. In one detailed account, he described being hit while he was distracted, then restraining her in what he claimed was a defensive attempt to calm the situation before retreating to another part of the house. These claims didn't go viral. They didn't trend. They didn't spark outrage. And that's partly because they clashed so hard with the image people already had in their heads. A beloved creative, new mom, and perceived victim didn't fit the role of aggressor. So the allegations stalled out, legally minimized, publicly dismissed, and emotionally ignored. That disconnect is the first real moment in this story because it raises the question of how much gets lost when public opinion picks a side too early. Then came the leak, or at least the accusation of one. When details of their divorce settlement began circulating online, Tiana immediately pointed the finger at Iman, accusing him of leaking sealed court documents and exposing her to harassment. It was a powerful claim because leaking sealed records isn't just messy, it's a serious violation. She went live, expressed frustration, and emphasized that she wanted the divorce to remain private from start. But almost as quickly as that accusation landed, another narrative began spreading behind the scenes. According to industry chatter and legal pushback, Iman denied leaking anything at all, suggesting that the documents could have come from somewhere else entirely. And that's where the optics get complicated. If Tiana wasn't the leaker, she was a victim of someone else's bad faith. But if she was, or if someone close to her was, then accusing Iman publicly shifts from self-defense to strategic misdirection. Motive suddenly matters because whoever leaked those documents controlled the narrative first. And once the documents were out, the money told its own story. The settlement revealed that Tiana walked away with multiple luxury properties, 4 residential homes tied to the marital estate, collectively valued in the 8-figure range. She retained high-end vehicles, including a Maybach, a Mercedes Sprinter, and additional luxury transportation assets, along with jewelry and other valuables. On top of that, there was a one-time 7-figure payment and ongoing monthly child support. On paper, it was an undeniably strong financial outcome, which is why many people started side-eyeing the contrast between public statements and private results. Because while Tiana repeatedly said she didn't want Iman's money, every court appearance seemed to end with him writing another check. That contradiction between rhetoric and receipts is where public sympathy began to crack. Iman didn't stay silent for long. Through his attorney, he formally denied leaking any documents, any allegations, or any information to the media, period. His response was blunt, legal, and carefully worded, stating that he had followed the court's orders, respected the sealing of records, and had no intention of discussing or disclosing any aspect of the case. With that response, the narrative stopped being a one-sided drag and turned into a full-blown standoff. Two completely different versions of the truth. Two reputations on the line. And one judge left to decide who crossed the line first. Because now, the question isn't just who's telling the truth, it's who the court believes. And that's a much scarier place to be than trending on social media. After the divorce dust settled, at least publicly, Tiana stepped back into the spotlight with a new kind of glow. Enter Aaron Pierre. Younger, rising, critically respected, and seemingly the emotional opposite of everything her marriage had become. When she spoke about him, her tone softened. This was healthy. This was gentle. This was peace. Fans wanted this for her. The timing felt symbolic. A woman reclaiming love on her own terms. Choosing softness after survival mode. But quietly, beneath the feel-good narrative, questions lingered. The relationship moved fast. The praise felt almost performative. And as Aaron's hype surged, so did their visibility. Nothing was overtly wrong, but in celebrity culture, timing is never neutral. When a relationship ended just as abruptly as it began, people didn't just feel disappointed. They felt suspicious. Not because breakups don't happen, but because the emotional whiplash was starting to feel familiar. And then, plot twist. Before the public could even process Aaron's exit, Leonardo DiCaprio's name entered the chat. No slow rollout. No carefully managed confirmation. Just sudden sightings, whispers, and industry chatter that immediately reframed everything that came before it. The shift was jarring. From a rising black actor framed as emotional healing to one of the most powerful, connected men in Hollywood. Someone whose relationships are always scrutinized for what they represent. Whether romantic or strategic, the association alone changed the conversation. Because Leonardo isn't just a celebrity, he's a career axis. And the timing, right as Tiana's acting profile was peaking, made people start asking uncomfortable questions. Not accusing, not concluding, but wondering, was this personal, professional, or both? Those questions intensified when her new film entered award season. The same project that earned her a Golden Globe also sparked backlash for how Black women were portrayed, specifically through her character. Critics and viewers alike argued that the role leaned heavily into sexualization and fetishization, especially within a story driven by white male power structures. Instead of distancing herself from the critique, Tiana defended the film, and by extension, the people behind it. She framed the discomfort as necessary, even educational, saying the story reflected harsh realities Black women already endure. But for many fans, that response felt less like nuance and more like alignment, especially given Leonardo's proximity to the project and the timing of her career breakthrough. The tension wasn't just about the movie anymore. It was about whether success was starting to outweigh accountability. That's when the tide visibly shifted. Online commentary grew sharper. Former supporters began questioning decisions they once excused. Some said she seemed more invested in protecting access and prestige than standing with the community that built her. Others expressed disappointment, not hatred, an important distinction. This wasn't a takedown fueled by trolls. It was disillusionment from people who expected more. The woman once celebrated for authenticity was now being read as calculated. And once that perception sets in, every move gets reinterpreted through a harsher lens. At this point, it's hard not to zoom out. A marriage ends in public conflict. The next relationship burns fast and disappears. A powerful industry figure enters the picture alongside a major career win. Criticism follows. Defensiveness escalates. Fans pull back. None of these moments alone prove anything. But together, they form a pattern that people can't ignore, even if they can't fully explain it. Whether intentional or coincidental, The outcomes look eerily consistent. Emotional fallout, public tension, and professional advancement happening side by side. So here's the real question, one without an easy answer. Is Tiana Taylor misunderstood? Navigating fame the only way Hollywood allows? Is she strategic, prioritizing survival and success in an industry that rarely protects black women? Or is she simply playing the same game everyone else plays, just more visibly and more messily? At what point does self-preservation start to look like self-interest? And who actually gets to decide? I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts below, because this story isn't finished and public opinion might be the loudest verdict of all.